Hi guys, it's Misty from the Book Rat, and as I was finishing editing this video I realized I didn't have an intro at all for it. I had one, but I don't know what happened to it, it got deleted. So today we're going to be doing a kind of plan with me, I guess. This is a look at my bullet journal setup for April, including the watercolor painting that I did for the calendar. So I'm going to just kind of speed through everything and show you how I set up my sort of repeating monthly things, so welcome page, calendar, trackers, things like that, and the sort of very basic layout I do for my weekly spreads. Just kind of talk about some of my setup choices and what works for me and why, including a little sort of addendum to the bullet journal that I've added into the routine. So if you would like to see that, keep watching. And of course, if you would like to see more of these videos, let me know that in the comments, or give it a thumbs up, or share it. That is all very helpful. So yeah, that is enough of a spiel from me. Let's get right into it. Before I get fully into the April stuff, I'm going to walk you really quick through March, because I meant to do a March plan with me. So here's my welcome page. Just did some little shamrock doodles, and the watercolor calendar is tulips and a rainbow. I didn't love it, but you know, it works. And then the next page, my trackers, I actually do sort of turned, it's rotated, just fits better that way. So I've got a little note section in the middle with a blog, vlog, and Instagram tracker on one side, and then a habit tracker on the other side. I did a little doodling in my weekly spreads this time around, which bled through. That's the doodle. Bled through into the blog tracker, but whatever, not the end of the world. This was how I did my weekly spreads for most of March, and then here is a reading log. I've been reading every single day. Towards the end of the month, though, I did switch to a simpler layout, which is what I'm going to do and carry through this month. But now on to April. So real quick on my little bacon post-its, I'm just kind of plotting out, I'm page saving basically, to make sure that I don't accidentally put anything on some pages that I'm going to need for the basic setup. And now I'm going to just get into it. So I'm starting with the habit tracker because it's just an easy one to plot out real quick. I start from the bottom up a little bit, doing the dates and the days of the week, and then I add in the habits that I want to track. I changed it up a little bit this month, though I did refer back to last month to make sure I wasn't forgetting anything I wanted. Wish I would have saved myself a little more room, but it's okay. Didn't happen. And here is the blog, vlog, and Insta tracker. I just write down every day of the month, and I leave a gap for the week breaks. That way it's easy for me to see at a glance what something's falling on. And then I've also been alternating every other line with a color so that, again, I can kind of see across, and it just makes it a little bit easier. That's for when I'm checking off what's been done and what hasn't, by the way. Just makes it easier to kind of follow the line straight across. Now I'm going to skip backwards a little bit and do my April welcome. Just did a really, really simple one, which says April showers, and then in May it will say brings May flowers, and just did it in a copper gel pen. Really, really easy, sort of sketchy foligraphy with a little cat interruption. And then I'm going to add in just some doodled clouds and raindrops. I just like to keep these really kind of loose and sketchy and easy pages, and to kind of carry the rain cloud, cloudiness, April showers theme through, I'm using some washi tape. I actually got this from the dollar store. Wasn't sure how well it was going to stick. Turns out it sticks really well, because when I messed up and had to replace some of it, which happened right here, totally skipped Tuesday for some reason, when I had to pull those up, it actually did pull some of the paper up, so I'm not so worried about it not sticking down. On this side of the page, I used a white paint pen, which just wasn't working great. For whatever reason, my paint pen was just not coming out. So on the other page, I switched to black Sharpie, which worked much better. But now I'm going to get into the watercolor calendar, which I should have started with so that it had time to dry while I was doing everything else, but I didn't. And here I'm realizing I almost had a major issue. That's cool. That's not what I want. That was almost really bad. This is Molotow masking fluid. This is a Zig glue pen. Both are blue. I almost put glue all over my page instead of masking fluid. Oops. And I wondered why when I used it recently it didn't want to come off. My god. Okay, but crisis averted. I caught it in time. Thank God. So I'm just transferring some of the masking fluid to a little container so that I can paint it on with a paintbrush. I do have a pen somewhere which is much easier to apply, but I just couldn't find it. So paintbrush works. Just keep in mind, if you ever use masking fluid on a paintbrush, that paintbrush is only for masking fluid from that point on. It's just not going to work. It's a liquid latex generally, and that it bonds to things. You're never getting it off. That said, if you dip your brush in some soapy water first, it does help save the brush a little bit, but I just dedicated this one to some liquid masking. Basically, I'm just gonna write on everything that I want to stay white. So the way masking fluid works is it prevents any water medium, like watercolor, from going through and tinting the paper. So whatever is underneath is going to stay that color, in this case, stay the color of my watercolor paper. And then when everything's dried, it peels off and you're left with a nice white space. So as you saw, I was using a ruler to kind of keep everything aligned for my numbers, and I'm just painting on some clouds and some raindrops. All of this will remain white, and I'll be able to color right over it. It won't permeate through that masking. So it's pretty great stuff once you kind of get a handle on it. You have to let it completely dry, which is what I did, and now I'm scraping off a couple little bits that just weren't what I wanted, like I smudged or whatever. It comes off pretty easily. Here I'm putting together some colors so I have an idea of the palette that I want to use, which is always a good idea, I think, going into a painting. And then I'm just covering the whole page in clean, clear water. You can tape your page down, but I wanted it to go all the way to the edges, and I'm not too worried about warping, so it's fine. I didn't tape it. And then I just went straight in with color. There's no real rhyme or reason here. I'm just kind of going, you know, lighter in areas where I want some lightness, darker in areas where I want some darkness. If I have a lot of words that are going to stay white in a certain area, I might make it a little darker there so they stand out a little better. But just, you know, whatever looks pleasing to mine eye is basically what I'm going for here. Just lots of blues, little bit of purple, little bit of green, and little grayish tones. You know, standard rain cloudy type stuff. The specific colors I used are going to be listed on the screen, and it was all just either those colors straight or those colors mixed together. And then I just set it aside to dry, and once it was completely dry, make sure there's no moisture left, you just rub off the masking fluid. It comes off really easily. So as you can see, it just peeled right off with my fingers. Once I had that all peeled off, I went back into one cloud that I had left completely white and did dots of the other colors that I used. Let that dry. If you have any areas that you messed up, you can fix those with white gouache, which is like watercolor but opaque. And then here is the finished result of calendar number 2, technically. I ended up making 2 of them. I put one downstairs in the kitchen as well. I ended up using this second one for my actual bullet journal because I liked the margins on it a little bit better for the way they would fit into my bullet journal, but either one would have been fine. So here's how it's going to fit in. I'm leaving a little bit of a gap in the edge. I've found that if I do that, it just flips easier and lays flat easier, which is obviously ideal. So that is calendar done and setup done. And real quick, I will walk you through everything. So here's that welcome page. Has a little April showers in copper pen and a little sketchiness, just really simple and nothing to write home about really. Here is the calendar, which isn't taped in or pasted in yet because I want to scan it, because it will be a free printable for the 30-day book binge, which I'll be talking about soon. So if you wanted to download this calendar and print it for yourself, you can. Here's that tracker page all finished and partially filled out as I've started adding things. I figured I probably should zoom in and tell you a little bit about how I worked this whole thing. So I use it to track blog, vlog, and Instagram posts, and those little letters at the top are sort of my reminders of things that need to be done that I can just check off. They stand for planned, completed, edited, finalized, scheduled, and shared. I know that seems kind of redundant, but in my head it makes sense. And then over here is that habit tracker that I talked about. Mostly the same things that I do all the time, just basic life stuff. And then here is the weekly spreads kind of backed out so you can actually see it. Started filling in a little bit of that too, and I'm going to add in little doodles, I think, from here on out, hopefully, to kind of link the monthly theme with the weekly spread so that they're not quite so plain. And then here is that other sort of additional page that I did, which I didn't talk too much about, but it's a tracker for book releases for the rest of 2018 because I want to start being better about publicizing things that get sent my way. Now here is the little addendum that I talked about in the beginning of the video. I've added in this little notebook from the dollar store for things that I want to keep track of in sync with the bullet journal, but not taking up space in the bullet journal. As I mentioned in my 2018 bujo video, I'm running out of space, so I gotta do what I gotta do to make it work. So there you have it. That is my April plan with me / walkthrough / watercolor calendar, coloring, just, you know, all of the things. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what spreads you use that you love for April, if you have any trackers or things that are seasonal, especially gardening related, that you use, because I'm starting to really plan that. I shouldn't say starting, because I've been like dreaming gardening since December, so I'm so ready. But anything basically spring related that you use in your bullet journal, I'd love to know about it, because I need some more fun pages, I guess. But that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and if you want to see more of these videos, definitely let me know. Maybe I'll make these monthly, but that is definitely still in the air. But looking forward to chatting with you in the comments about all things planner, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video.
Buddy, what are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? Come on, scoosh.